Hello. So today's dream interpretation is very detailed and very complex. So I might have to reference it. Okay. So it's this person, this male, which is a father and has two daughters, and they are walking through a residential neighborhood. And they don't know the destination and exactly where they're going. So it starts to rain, and he has to turn back. And so he's running back to his car because he left the cell phone there. And then there was a man behind them running as well, and he picked up a blue disc, almost like a frisbee, and he said something to the children, and then about them not throwing back the frisbee, and then he, sorry, I was going to redo the whole video, but it's not, because it's very, I haven't done this dream because it's very complex and it's a lot, so we're just going to go on it. So he's walking through a residential area with his two daughters. He has to go back to the car to get a cell phone, and then in that he feels someone in the back, and he sort of throws the frisbee at the girls, and he tells them not to leave his kids alone and not to throw them back. And then there was another man in the alleyway, and one of the men grabbed one of the kids, and they started running towards his other child. And so she broke free, and they yelled to her to run as fast as they could. And then he followed the man who had the other child into a trailer, and then they were like holed up in the bathroom, and then they broke the door down to the bathroom. But he felt weak, and he wasn't able to fight off the assailant, and I think that's how we pronounce it. And then he woke up, right? So what it is that he's going through this path of his journey of his life, and he has his two daughters, which are legit. He has two specific daughters, and he's afraid that they'll take them away. And so he is consciously and taking care of them, and they're running, right? And they're going through this residential, right? I don't know if they're running. And then he forgets something. He goes back for his phone, right? And so as he goes back, then they grab one of them, and one of the guys, the assailant, right, throws a frisbee that sort of is like blue, and then he grabs one, and she breaks free, one of the children, and then he goes back, and he's running after the other one that has the other child, and then they get into the bathroom, but they break the door down, and then he is unable to fight them off. He's weak, so he's worried that they might take his children away. This started when COVID started, so there was a possibility that maybe he couldn't, feel that he was protecting them. But really what this dream is about is that he feels that his children are in danger of being taken away from him, okay? And it seems like he cannot voice it, and he is unable to communicate it. That's why he didn't have the cell phone, and that's why he was going back. In that, they take one child, and so she's able to break free, and then they take the other one, right? So he's after the other one, and then he follows them to the bathroom. So there's a cleansing that needs to happen, and there's just a cleansing that needs to happen, but he's like depleted out of energy. So he feels there's someone within his life that he is worried that will take away his children, most likely his wife, I'm thinking. And so I don't know, it looks like they had a good relationship, but it seems like maybe he was worried about it, and he feels that whatever oppression he's had in terms of him and his children, that this person maybe is like the kidnapper, right? Like this person in his life, he feels threatened by them, because he feels like he's gonna he or she's gonna take the children away. And so, but he is unable to voice it, and he feels that he has no power to defend himself, and to defend his children, and that there's in the whole process, in that whole dynamic that he has with whoever he has it, that he's afraid that will take the children away. There needs to be some sort of a cleansing, but there also needs to be communication, clear communication, and he needs to speak his truth about whatever it is that they need to speak about it, which obviously is about the children, probably some oppression, and probably there's a lot of threats about, I'm going to take the children away. So he has that in his subconscious, was what I'm thinking. And once he sort of breaks down the door, breaking down the door is huge in terms of he goes through a breakthrough, right? So there's a breakthrough in his life that he's actually gone through, right, in terms of the children, because in the end, he sort of has the children and he catches the assailants, right? I say assailants, I think is what they called, but he's just so tired, he cannot, continue to fight. So at that point in his life, he has the children, but he's just not, he's just, he's weak. He can't fight anymore. So that's what it is. Love and light. Ciao.